You have the squad that's coming out very intensely, very angry that Biden hasn't filled his cabinet with more progressives. Bernie Sanders also coming out saying he's angry. The idea that there isn't fighting within the Democratic Party as well. I know what you're saying.
Right.
I'm talking about
somebody answer. Yeah.
You missed me so much when I was on maternity leave. You missed me so much. You missed fighting with me. Don't act like you missed fighting with me.
I did not miss you.
Are you listening?
Okay. Somebody answer.
Damn. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
First of all, let's get one thing straight.
Bye, Felicia.
At the end of the day, I really feel like she's gonna be okay, you know, and she's gonna recover whether her ass was sitting at this table or not.
A woman who ran into her friend's ex-husband ended up hitting it off with him, and they wrote to the Washington Post advice column because she's conflicted whether it's okay to start seeing him. You have any thoughts about this?
Yeah, my thoughts about this are that Alexei Navalny is being held in a gulag in Russia right now, and he is slowly being killed, and the United States is doing nothing to sanction him, and we need to help Putin accountable, and he's going to die on our watch, and it is going to be cataclysmic for international relations, and any Democrat who cared about Russia needs to care about it now. Save Alexei Navalny. That's how I feel about dating your ex. We'll be right back.
Will we?
And tell me, do you know?
I hope so.
But do you really know? Do you really know?
No, you know.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll be right back. I was posing the question as to whether we think there should be more than two parties, Democrats and Republicans, because you have conservatives and then you have the Trumpians. And to me, you also have extremists.
Let the Republicans fight amongst themselves. On the one hand, you have the Republicans. On the other, you have the seditionists. That's the fight that's going on in the Republican Party right now. In the Democratic Party, you have the progressives versus the moderates, which is, de rigueur, as they say. You know, it's what it always is. It's typical politics. The Republican Party is in much more trouble right now because you have really traitors.
You have AOC saying she's going to
excuse me, am I done? I'm not done.
Well, it's just that's completely inaccurate. You have AOC fighting right now about whether or not she's going to end up primarying Chuck Schumer, coming out not saying she has the full support of Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. You have the squad that's coming out very intensely, very angry that Biden hasn't filled his cabinet with more progressives. Bernie Sanders also coming out saying he's angry. The idea that there isn't fighting within the Democratic Party as well. I know what you're saying.
Right.
I'm talking about
somebody answer. Yeah.
You missed me so much when I was on maternity leave. You missed me so much. You missed fighting with me. Don't act like you missed fighting with me.
I did not miss you.
Okay, somebody answer the question.
You must be dying! Aren't you dying?
Somebody answer the question.
Can I weigh in?
Or I'm
You know what? That's so
moving
nasty.
on.
I'd like to
That's
weigh
like
in.
Yeah.
so nasty.
Whoopi, can I
was
weigh in?
teasing
Okay,
because you
guys,
said
guys,
something rude. Like,
hold on.
really?
I would die.
Hold on. Stop. Everybody stop. Everybody stop.
That's so rude.
This is not the way to this is not the way to do it.
Just die.
And so I'm going to now become Whoopi and say, Sarah,
Die, die, die.
We don't want to politicize this, which we shouldn't. Right now it's a time to listen to doctors, look at information, look at facts, look at data. I think by calling it the Chinese virus, that's politicizing it by title. So I think we need to stay on calling it what it is. It's the coronavirus or COVID-19 and stay with fact.
Mm-hmm. And you know, people, as we've seen, people start punching people, Asian folks out.
Yes.
They, you know, will attack. So we need to stop calling it or labeling it like it's they did it to us. Mother Nature really did this to us.
Part of the problem is in December, there were a bunch of Chinese doctors that were sounding the alarm on this virus, and the Chinese government, or lack of the government, was trying to suppress them, and they were trying to give out warnings. I actually have a friend whose brother was in China, and the lack of information, they don't have access to social media. I agree with you that I think if the left wants to focus on PC labeling this virus, it is a great way to get Trump reelected. I don't have a problem with people calling it whatever they want. It's a deadly virus that did originate in Wuhan. I don't have a problem with it. And I think that China, had they acted right away and we had more access to information, maybe it wouldn't have gotten to the place that it is. That doesn't mean that we should be, in any way
We shouldn't be pointing
stereotyping.
fingers at people.
I'm pointing fingers at China.
We shouldn't
I'm
stereotype
fine,
it.
I'm fine, happy.
You know,
But we also
China's
need
best
information from China.
It's just, it's bothersome to me on so many levels.
No,
By the way,
here's
we
the
as
problem.
Americans have the luxury but we have the luxury right now to be arguing about verbiage versus like people that are actually dying and on
What about the
ventilators
Chinese
in other
Americans
countries.
that get targeted because people start calling it the Chinese
this is the point.
virus, right?
Yes.
Whoopi, I think
First of all,
It's like when-
anyone who
that's
thinks
my
I
point,
tweeted about this days ago because a woman I follow on Twitter named Jenny Han. And the idea that I'm just going to let China get away with it and get off the hook, there's a lot of anger about our reliance on the Chinese government right now and our reliance on China in so many ways. And by the way, that messaging from President Trump and his messaging from the very beginning that we need to remove our trade from China is going to be very effective going into 2020.
But you don't have to let China get away with it.
But you cannot.
I can't tell who's yelling at me right now.
The same thing that he did.
I cannot fucking believe how terrible you are at your job.
No one's
two of
yelling.
you right
I'm
now.
just trying to make sure you can hear me. I'm simply saying the same way he came in saying Mexicans and rapists are coming here to get Americans is the same stuff he's doing. It was effective, but
That's like trying to use a croissant as a fucking dildo.
it was not correct.
No, let me be more clear. It doesn't do the job, and it makes a fucking mess.
Is the point. And if any Asian person who is getting hit, as we've seen in the last few weeks, because someone thinks that they are walking around with it, you can't, as the person who's leading the country, you can't lead with that. You got to be better.
It is a great way to get Trump reelected. I don't have a problem with people calling it whatever they want. It's a deadly virus that did originate in Wuhan. I don't have a problem with it.
Oh, good. Meghan McCain doesn't have a problem with it. Listen not to the scores of Asian Americans telling everyone that the term is dangerous and offensive. Instead, gather around and take the word of a wealthy white woman who's dressed like she's about to lay off 47 people over Zoom. Now, I will say, McCain posted this week, "Stop Asian hate" with 3 broken heart emojis, which is a fine sentiment to throw up on Twitter after the fact. But there has to be an understanding that saying, "I don't have a problem with calling it the China virus," is very much giving space for that hate to grow.
School. Like, the fact that you even could say those things just shows how fortunate you were, that you didn't have to worry about that, that you knew you were going to be okay without it. And that sits with me and makes me cringe, and it's embarrassing that I ever said those types of things. I not only said them, but edited it uploaded it, and then saw their response to realize it was wrong.
Right. eBay's decision to stop selling the 6 Dr. Seuss titles that his family pulled from publication over racist imagery. Meghan, do you consider this a free speech issue?
I hate making this political because I actually think there's a lot more nuance in this being a left-right issue, is that it's not just the canceling of Dr. Seuss. It's Mr. Potato Head, it's Pepe Le Pew, it's various cartoons. Part of the culture war issue that's going on right now is the difference of opinion between wanting things to still exist and learn from mistakes of the past and things that won't, and I don't see it ending anytime soon.
A lot of this pearl clutching, as they call it, is coming from Fox and right-wing media, and it's a distraction, as Sonny said, from the fact that not a single Republican in the Senate voted for the COVID relief package, which is popular with 60% of Americans. That same party that voted 100% in lockstep to give tax breaks to rich people. So they don't want you to notice this because it's not popular in this country to vote against COVID relief from putting food on the tables of Americans who are suffering. That's what they're doing right now. That is the distraction. Let's be clear.
It's been a hot topic on the show. It's because 9% of the bill is actually going to COVID relief.
No way.
Out of all that, it's completely filled with pork, and it's basically a left-wing fever dream of things that are pushed into this bill along with it. That was conservatives' problem with it.
No way. No way. I want to see the receipts.
And now that we have
so that's 60% of the Americans.
No, I think that we should have that relief bill only going to COVID relief, not for anything else. Only paychecks to average Americans. 9% of that entire bill is going to Americans.
I want to see receipts.
That's the problem, conservatives, with it.
Since when?
It's not because we hate poor people and we don't want people to have help during the worst economic crisis of my generation. And I think that narrative and framing of it is not only wildly insulting, but it's actually inaccurate. Over it today.
By the way,
I love George Washington.
What's your Republicans
over it today?
Fans of free enterprise.
I like her spunk. Very professional.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a break right now because it isn't working as well as we.
I would die!
Prince Harry and Duchess Meghan's interview aired in the UK and received a very different reception from the Brits. A Snap poll found that about half of the viewers found it inappropriate, others called it a betrayal of the royal family, and TV personalities like Piers Morgan were personally offended by it. Hey, Meghan, what do you think about all this?
Look, Whoopi, my ancestors fought in the American Revolution. When I was growing up, my brothers and sister and I would pretend to be George Washington and the Continental Army crossing the Delaware River when we would be in the creek on our rafts. I named my daughter Liberty. I enjoy going to Mount Vernon to, visit the home place of our founding fathers. I did not want to defend the monarchy. I'm a red-blooded 100% American who celebrates freedom any way I can and always. So being put in a position where I'm supposed to defend the monarchy is uncomfortable. Again, I want to take this time to encourage all Americans to visit Mount Vernon and see why monarchies are stupid. The American experiment is the way to go. And if we have two American women, Meghan Markle and Oprah Winfrey, who are single-handedly finishing what George Washington and our revolutionary counterparts did, I'm all for it.
Okay.
I would die!
So, Meghan, we're not seeming to get any real guidance from the Education Secretary. So what do you think a good idea for a plan could be?
Well, first and foremost on that point, Betsy DeVos needs major media training if she's going to have a job like this in the administration during a pandemic. I don't know if I've ever seen someone at that level be worse in interviews. And you're laughing, Joy, but it's quite serious. I mean, we're talking about life and death situation of children going back to school.
Really, your voice is like a crow.
But ma'am, I just wanted to...
Everyone from Betsy DeVos on down, Republicans, Democrats, as far as I'm concerned, vote everybody out on both sides from the ground up, because I'm so sick of our paying taxpayer dollars to come up with absolute jack 5 months in for the children of America.
Stop with the whining, all right? You're going to shatter the bulletproof glass in here.
Amusing me today is this idea that the Republican Party cares about education. They've been spending the last few decades defunding education.
But to sit here and say that Republicans don't care about education or children is just ridiculous.
Well, then why do they keep defunding it? Why do they keep defunding education? Every time I turn around, it's less money. I was a teacher. I know what I'm talking about, okay, Megan?
I was not a teacher. I'm not a
Republicans.
teacher, but again, I think that this is.
Know why I'm helping you here?
There's no need to be shrill, Ms. Brokama.
Shrill?
I think what's exhausting is coming on the show every day and being told that Republicans don't care about anything. We just want people to die. We want children not to be educated. Nothing matters. This is a crisis in this country right now. I have friends who have been calling me absolutely panicked about their kids not being able to go back to work and go back to school in September. And we all have to collectively come together and stop coming into this show every Monday after a break and saying, oh, it's Republicans' fault. It's not.
Well, then please go. Some of our viewers were complaining that you're shrill anyway, so.
Oh, shrill? No, I'm never shrill. And that's, and you're acting as though I'm sounding shrill right now? Yeah.
This is America's problem, and yes, there's a lot of blame to be placed at Trump's feet, but we can all collectively take blame right now for everyone who's in office on the left and the right.
I wish that Hillary Clinton.
I'm sorry, but
I wish that Hillary
We'll
Clinton
be right back.
was president. You'd not find yourself in this.
Hey, could someone check the parking lot? I think all the alarms are going off.
Women, Meghan Markle and Oprah Winfrey, who are single-handedly finishing what George Washington and our revolutionary counterparts did. I'm all for it.
Okay.
Somebody answer. You missed me so much when I was on maternity leave. You missed me so much. You missed fighting with me. That level be worse in interviews. And you're laughing, Joy, but it's quite serious.
We shouldn't be pointing fingers at people.
Not only wildly insulting, but it's actually inaccurate. Don't act like you missed fighting with me.
I did not miss you.
Okay.
Over today. I don't have a problem with people calling it whatever they want. It's a deadly virus that did originate in Wuhan.
I'm sorry,
fingers at China.
But we shouldn't stereotype it.
I'm fine. Over it today.
Very effective, but you cannot.
I can't tell who's yelling at me right now.
The same thing that he did.
Over it today. I think what's exhausting is coming on the show every day.
No one's yelling. I'm just trying to make sure you can hear me. Okay, so what we're gonna. Somebody answer the question.
And we all have to collectively come together and stop coming into this show every Monday after a break and saying, oh, it's Republicans' fault. It's not.
Take a break right now because it just.
We'll be right back.
Will we?
I hope so.
Yeah.